I mean, I think this is going to be a shot in the arm for a lot of people that really think that, Game Pass is sustainable, that Microsoft is happy with Game Pass. Because obviously, when you look at the actions versus what they say, it's kind of clear that, that the actions aren't lining up with exactly kind of the words coming out of their mouths. It's the same thing with the way that they talk about their console in general. Oh, we love consoles. It's a key pillar. We love our console. But then the actions don't line up with that. They raised the prices twice in 4 months. They haven't done a console update in almost a year now. And, they're not giving anybody a single reason to actually own their console. And don't give me the whole Game Pass thing, because paying an additional almost $400 a year for the right to rent some games is not a reason to own a console, right? Like, if you were to just go out and buy an Xbox Series X right now, that's $650 plus tax. You're paying over $700 for this console, and then you're telling me the reason to own that is to pay a further $400 to rent games from them? So, yeah, that doesn't fly with me. It doesn't make sense. And now, we're seeing a lot of people kind of talk about this, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of clear that things aren't going as smoothly for Microsoft as possible. They might have tried to deny the whole 30% stuff, but it's kind of clear that they have some incredibly high margins that they have to kind of get out there, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't really expect things to kind of change drastically, but this is strange to see, and I'm glad that Xbox fans are kicking up a fuss. So, as you guys know, there was the big showcase or whatever. Forza Horizon 6 has a controversial Game Pass upgrade. You guys remember they used to do the Game Pass upgrade where you can pay like a certain amount, I think $20 or $30, and then you'd be able to get the upgrade with the, be able to play it early. You'd be able to get, the DLC that's going to come. But, Forza Horizon 6 made a pretty big splash at the Developer Direct with an impressive showing that gives us a glimpse at Playground's vision for open world Japanese racing. It's launching in May, which is actually pretty soon. And again, people are starting to spot that the game's DLC is looking rather expensive this time around. If you head over to the Xbox Store, you can see that the game's premium upgrade, which contains early access and is often paired with a Game Pass subscription for pre-release access, costs $60. That's the price of the standard edition of game in the UK. In the US, it's $70, which is a notable markup of the Forza Horizon 5 upgrade and other comparable titles. So, it's very interesting to see that this is kind of come about. Like, you're paying double for the game basically now, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Slightly better pricing than the base game in the UK does not make the upgrade look more expensive over here than it probably does in the US, but $60 is a huge ask for day one DLC. Of course, the upgrade does contain two major expansions, which the Forza Horizon series has always delivered on since Forza Horizon 3 days, but those will come months down the line, maybe even a year down the line. The main launch day purchases for that 4-day early access window and some other small welcome perks and such. A lot of fans are beginning to get into this here in the comment section of different places and social media and things like that. And it's intriguing to see how it all shakes out for Microsoft and Playground Games. If you have a strong feeling you'll enjoy those two big expansions with the premium upgrade, it could be worth it, but otherwise it's probably, potentially worth waiting to kind of see what happens. But again, I don't think, Microsoft really just comes across as really corporate and greedy with stuff like this. And, when we kind of look into some of the things and the failures that they've had recently, one of the big failures has been, the Outer Worlds 2. And, they're saying, that game didn't sell very well. And I think probably one of the big reasons why that game didn't sell very well is because, they tried to price it originally at $80. People, gamers in particular, hold a grudge. So, you try to sell that game for $80, and that took it off a lot of people's radar, even though they went and changed the price back to $70 or whatever. I believe that had a huge negative impact on, what a lot of people were thinking in terms of, the game or whatever, if they were going to get the game or not. And so that is the real tricky part to, all of this. People are going to see this and they're going to, this could affect the sales. It could affect a lot of different things. It's like, here's the thing. you already have people paying Game Pass for Game Pass like double the amount that they were. And now you have this situation where gamers are still having to pay essentially for the game itself again, which is really weird. The way that Microsoft is kind of handling this. So I could definitely see why so many Xbox fans are upset about this. Paying double the price for the game and paying more than what you had to get the premium upgrade before. So it's like Microsoft does all of this stuff that makes it, it makes it not fun to be an Xbox fan. It's just like everything is just all about like the money for them. And paying $60 for early access, so you would get to play the game early, 4 days, 2 premium expansions, an Italian Passion car pack coming post-launch, Time Attack car pack, a car pass, 30 cars delivered in your game, 1 per week, VIP membership, and a welcome pack. So I mean, like $60 for that, I don't know. It just, to me, selling people on DLC and stuff, it just goes to show, to me anyway, it looks like they're trying to make up for money that they're losing through Game Pass. And it's like, if Game Pass is losing you money, cut it off. And I think that's going to be how people kind of view it. And in my opinion anyway, it's like, I don't know, this is just like pretty egregious. And so again, like I have to state, like it is nice to see some Xbox fans actually speak up for a change and say, hey, we are definitely not happy with like the things that are going on, and this is kind of BS. Microsoft, what are you guys playing at here? It's bad enough for me anyway. Like when you kind of look at these things and you go, it's the 25th anniversary of Xbox. Shouldn't Xbox fans be privy to something special? I I don't know. It just really does feel like we aren't really getting the things that we wanted. There's not any particular reason in specific to own an Xbox at this point. And that is really kind of disappointing, because Xbox used to be such a great platform. It really was. It was such an awesome platform. And right now there's just like, they do a showcase, but there's like zero hype over Xbox, over anything Microsoft is doing. Like there's some people that were, they're slightly excited about some of the games or whatever, but there's no excitement over actual Xbox itself, which, to me kind of says a lot about, what's kind of going on, and, how we're kind of, living as fans right now. It's kind of crazy to see, but and what can Microsoft do to realistically change anything at this point? I don't know that there is anything that they can do. It's like all their moves that they do are just about all the moves that they're doing are just about money, and it's just like you lose something in there. And I see some people going, oh well, look how good Fable looked, and that's really going to be the turning point for the quality of their games and all this kind of stuff. And my question to that would be, well, is it though? Like, I don't know. I seen people like acting like that's gonna like change everything. I don't think it is. They were investing heavily into that game since day one. It's been in development for it's almost a decade. And what could they do? I mean, their options were to cancel it and probably have to close the studio or whatever, but I don't think the quality of Fable is going to be indicative of the quality of, Double Fine's next game or whatever. I mean, their next game looks pretty terrible as it is, but, I don't think it's indicative of that at all. I think, we're still going to see games that come out that are kind of cheap, or, whatever the case may be. So, I don't know. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Are you guys upset about the pricing? Do you guys feel that Microsoft is like pricing these things all kind of weird and anti-consumer? I don't know. It just really does feel that way to me. Like this is not very consumer friendly to to a lot of the people that are kind of looking into buying an Xbox or being an Xbox fan. Like where's the payoff to being an Xbox owner right now? Where's the payout? What's the point in owning an Xbox in the future, right? Like these are questions that we still have like zero answers to, and it's like, I don't know, it's getting kind of ridiculous to me. So let me know. I'll link this in the description. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Are you planning to pick up the early thing? Is it not an issue to you because you never buy it anyway? You'll just play the regular version or whatever. I'm sure some people damage control that like that anyway. Let me know. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.